Okay, my name is Boindiwe Bozi. I'm from Kuti district. Okay, in this office, I'm a chairperson of this organization, NADL, National Association of the Deaf Lesotho. Yes, this organization, its main objective is to advocate for human rights of deaf people in Lesotho, more especially on the issues of education, employment, and other issues which affect them mostly. Okay, this organization works together with parents of people with deafness, and it started 1992. In 1994, it was what? Registered in law. Yes. In 1991, it was just started, but in 1994, it was when it has started to register by the law. And we work along with the World Federation of Deaf. Yes, we affiliate under that big organization because okay, the first time I knew about Sekhametsi Development Trust, it was by the year 2015 when I was a student at NUL, National University of Lesotho. Sorry.
What was she studying there?
Yes, I was doing general counseling, which was mainly of counseling for the families. Yes, it was a general counseling.
Okay.
Okay, let me start from NUL. The motivation that I got there was that I realized that I am struggling with most of the things at UNL. Okay, let me start. I was having one sign language interpreter, but when conditions allow, or rightly, it could be free interpreters, which will help me to grasp or to get information. I have to have the sign language interpreter as the lecture is going on. There should be someone who writes for me the notes, who taking for me the notes, so that me myself I only focus on the sign language interpreter, and I can learn very well from that note taker. But unfortunately, I had one interpreter, and luckily I had someone or another student who knows sign language in that. But she came to help me free of charge. And that was very lucky because I had two interpreters, and the other interpreter was only volunteering. But I struggled because I expected to have three sign language interpreters, but I managed to just got good results, which ended me I graduated in or passed in merits through that sign language interpreters. It was very, very important that I got those beautiful results. Okay, let me get into this project of Montreal. Yes, I just approached Sekhametsi, make a proposal because I have perceived and realized that those teachers there at Montreal, they don't know sign language. So I realized that it is very important that maybe I can try to develop or do what a proposal whereby I propose or request that the Sekhametsi Development Trust Fund can intervene and try to break that communication barrier between teachers and students. Yes, I started to make or do that proposal to Sekhametsi. Yes, yes, all that Shota is my lecturer who taught me about HIV and AIDS, and those issues they worried him because he knew that he knew my needs that and in that year NVR. The Daily Shota introduced Sekhametsi to me and explained, or he tried to help me as to build that proposal because he has high interest in what deaf community. Okay, he introduced me to speech to text. Okay, that equipment, which we can use effectively or which can help to translate the verbal or the words word by word into sign language or into sign language so that I can clearly comprehend or understand what has been portrayed. Yes. Okay, that is how I knew about the Sekhametsi Development Trust.
So how is the Sekhametsi assisting?
Okay, Sekhametsi supported this organization with finances amounting to 8,000 or 80,000. Sorry, 80,000. And in order to see to it that this project is achievable, and with that 80,000, we have to do what? To buy dictionary and DVD so that we can give it to those teachers at Montreal to use such materials to train or to get more skills on sign language, so that when they got that dictionary or that material could help them to better understand concept of sign language. The other amount on that 8,000 was to pay those facilitators as well as transport which took them from here Maseo to that specific school. Okay, it's because I've seen it very, very important that teachers there at NVL, if maybe time for other aspect of communication, it was very, very bad. It was very boring when they have to approach me at their free time, because all lecturers wanted to do what, to talk to me or to talk to me with sign language, or they eager to say to me, they just portray to show me the smile. So that issue only, hey, it frustrated me and bored me. So that it only bored me when we have to communicate. What they can only display was only smile. There is no communication. But on that, as I was studying at NUL, it just dawned on me that I have to start sign language classes, so that maybe they would have the basics as to when anyone wants to communicate with me, so that we can have a free communication. That issue of only smiling at me, just like I was foolish, that only thing bought me very, very much. Yeah, when coming to this issue of Montreal, having that experience, I have seen it that it is very, very challenging that the most students there at Montreal, they experience the same problem I have experienced at NUR. So I have seen it very, very much important that when the teachers know the basics of sign language, they might communicate freely or well with deaf learners there at Montreal. So that is why I have started to make a proposal to Sekhametsi so that they can teachers they can communicate well with students there at Montreal. So the main objective is that when they know sign language, those learners will have good results. Okay, I'm a volunteer in this office. So I'm working as a sign language instructor. Okay, in this project of Sekhametsi Development Trust, okay, in this office we work with the mother body is being reinforced. In this office I am education officer also. So now okay, when Sekhametsi decided to help us about this project, I approached Ndate Mashai here so that we can teach teachers there in Montreal sign language interpreter, sign language. So Nebonji just facilitated that project so that it can get implemented. Okay. In 1 week we had to teach teachers there twice, and we take the classes took only 3 hours, depending upon how those teachers are busy. But we managed to make 3 hours long class. Okay, what we have noticed about this project, teachers were highly motivated and exhilarated and happy about this project. But we can't deny the fact that there was challenges which we hindered along the way. Because when coming to the issue of teachers, when deaf students had to consult the teachers about anything which they didn't comprehend in the classroom, teachers had a very big problem, but after learning or during the course of their learning, the teachers just appreciated and just so that learners just improving in the class. Okay, and the teachers just showed a big interest, but they just claimed that these classes just maybe clash with their schedule of just teaching other subjects or their day-to-day teaching services. Yeah, but they just tried to do it. To learn a sign language from students. So we as instructors, we have just taught them. The main issue was to introduce teachers about the culture of deaf learners as to how good they can approach the deaf learners. That was very, very important aspect. After those teachers understood as to the approach they should use, they just started to learn them to teach them the sign language basics, because we have understood that the approach is very, very, or plays very much important role when we approach any person, so that when they communicate with them, they already know and the good approaches as to how they can approach, or how well they can approach them. Secondly, the challenge which we faced was that teachers themselves, they showed that mostly we have the same the signs, so they get confused as to how they can differentiate one sign from the other. So we tried to show them as to how these signs differ, because there is a slim difference between those signs. Okay, we have tried to teach them or to show them other deaf people. They use because this issue of sign language, they didn't learn it from as early as their counterparts. It becomes so difficult to differentiate one sign from the other. But that issue of them complaining that other signs they are a bit similar. They just came to understand that same difference between those signs. Okay, as we are progressing to teach them, unfortunately, this issue of pandemic COVID-19 erupted. It was a very, very huge challenge, but I remember quite well that the first challenge was that of teachers' strike, because they just engaged in strike. Others just come to school, but there was no good progression because of that closure of strike. And as I explained, that issue of the pandemic just brought a big challenge. And we decided to, as a result of that challenge, we decided to make online classes. as to overcome that challenges. Yes, we started that online classes, but the other issue of this thing of online classes as well causes the confusion, because other teachers didn't quite understand this issue of internet. They just complained that of that issue of data and so on and so forth. But we just because of half of those teachers just complain about that the issue of online classes and its complications. We just ended there.
Do you plan to resume? Do you plan to resume? When do you plan to resume? To restart the classes? That's the question.
Actually, we depend from those teachers. It's only them who can decide as to how situations are, because as we have realized that the schools just closed for a long time, but we just ask them as to how ready they are or how the situations are, so that we can just